Alright, welcome here. Today I want to show you guys some November theme ideas in my bullet journal, and we're going to do 3 really simple and quick ideas, and don't forget to let me know down in the comments which one is your favorite. So the one that we're going to start off with is a little balloon theme, and I have done a balloon theme in one of my theme ideas before, but this one's going to be different, and I'm going to use a black pen for this. I often try to avoid black pen just because it's so much faster to do doodles that don't need to all be outlined. So with these balloons, you can do like a bunch of different shapes. Just remember, whatever shapes you do, you want to keep everything like very rounded. Like if you decide to do a star or something like that, you want to keep things rounded. But I'm just going to start off with maybe a heart balloon in the middle, and then at the bottom of each one you want to add that little kind of triangle where it's been tied. I'm going to do a star balloon kind of sticking out from behind. And you can get creative with your shapes. I know I've seen some people do, like a balloon with like bunny ears or cat ears or something like that. And you totally can. I'm just going to do 3 balloons, not super out there. And then what I'm going to do is just draw on those little like kind of shiny spots. And alternatively, if you don't want to use a black pen, you could definitely just go in and color the balloons and then draw over top with a white gel pen and just make those little streaks with a white gel pen. Alright, so those are going to be my balloons, just quick and easy, and then you want to color them in. Now I am also going in and just kind of adding like a little bit of shading to kind of, what would be like the underside if the lighting is coming from over here. And I'm just using the same color that I used originally, but just kind of adding an extra layer or 2 of ink to darken it up. So those are my balloons. I feel like this theme could look really cool if you like totally filled a page with balloons, or even if you did like maybe a bigger title, like stacked calligraphy for November, and then just kind of had some balloons in like the corners as an accent or something like that. But what I'm going to do now is just add a heading for November, and obviously you can do this however you want. I'm just going to kind of like wing it and go in and do some fun lettering for November. I'm going to do it kind of on top of the balloons over here. Alright, so there is my heading for November. Again, I just kind of did whatever came to mind. Generally, I do go a little bit thicker on the downstrokes and a little bit thinner on the upstrokes, but it's not super noticeable with the font that I used there. So that was the first theme, and even with all the talking and stuff, that only took 6 minutes to set up. For the next theme, I'm going to do a bit of sort of a print over the page. So I'm actually going to start off by writing my heading for November, which I'm just going to do in calligraphy. So the print that I'm going to do is going to be some lily pads and dragonflies. So you'll want some kind of green and then a color for your dragonflies. Maybe you'll want like a light blue or something for some water. I did not bring a light blue. Well, I guess I have this one down here, but I didn't bring one for that purpose. So I'm just going to go and do my dragonflies. So the dragonfly is basically just kind of a teardrop or a dot for the head, and then a longer like stick for the body. I'm just going to draw a few of those, and then we'll worry about the wings later. Alright, now let's go in and draw the wings with black gel pen. And again, I feel like I could have brought like even a light blue or a light gray or something to color in these wings, because they are kind of like translucent, so you don't really want to color them in with like a very solid color. But I feel like a little bit of color would have been nice. I might just kind of do like some light little like kind of cross hatching in the wings. But let me describe the wings on the next dragonfly that I do. So what I'm doing is just drawing a big kind of teardrop shape for the top wing, and you just want it to be as symmetrical as possible without losing sleep over it. And then a smaller teardrop shape for the bottom wing. I kind of have them coming out of the same point instead of doing, you know, like one starting here, the bottom wing starting here. Then I'm also going to add 2 little antennae. And yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of cross hatching, but that's honestly just because I didn't bring other colors that I think would look good in the wings, but I think any like really soft color would look nice to kind of show that it's like a semi-transparent wing. Now, I will say I've done a few like butterfly themes. These days I mostly just use butterfly stamps if I want to do a butterfly theme, but I have drawn my own butterfly themes as well. And while they're not like too difficult, they are definitely more difficult than just doing this. So if you kind of like the feel of a butterfly theme, but don't really want to, you know, draw out all the leaves, especially like monarchs, those ones are kind of hard. Just it's a lot of, you know, line work, which I don't love. Dragonflies would be a great theme idea for you. You definitely don't need to add lily pads. You could keep it just like this. You could do like a bunch of different colored dragonflies. I'm going to add the little like kind of dotted trails behind them afterwards. I just want to go in and do my lily pads first, but you could totally keep the dragonflies as a theme just on their own without any lily pads. So for the lily pads, I'm just going to kind of scatter them around the page. You want to almost complete a circle, but then just kind of like take a wedge out of the pie. And I kind of like to cluster mine in groups of 2 or 3. Sometimes I'll just do a single one, and you can do a variety of sizes just all over the page. So as I mentioned, I am going to go in now and just draw kind of the dotted trail behind the dragonflies. Other things that you could do, if I had either like a darker green or a white gel pen, I would use it to draw kind of like spokes coming out from the center point on the lily pad like that. I don't really love how it looks in black, but if I had brought some of those other supplies with me, that's what I would do. Also, you can do like kind of, you know, rings or like little water ripples coming out from some of the lily pads. I think that would look nice if you had like a good light blue with you, that you could do something like that. But that is the basic theme. And again, you could totally break this into 2 separate themes. You could do a lily pad theme or a dragonfly theme. It does not need to be both. Now for the last theme, I'm going to do kind of like a patchworky sort of design. I saw that OBUJO lady did a theme really similar to this recently, and I really loved it. So I'm kind of replicating something similar to what she did. If I were you, I would plan out the spacing a little bit more in advance, since you do kind of want this to be like a square in the middle of the page. But what I'm going to do instead is just find the center point and kind of like work out from there. So I'm going to make rather large blocks for my sort of patchwork design. I'm going to make them 4 dot grid spaces by 4, so that each block is a square. And another helpful tool for this, if you wanted to, would be a ruler, but naturally I don't really feel like using a ruler, so I'm just going to go straight in and draw them in. And I'm basically just drawing in every other kind of piece of the little quilt here. And then so in the next row, that'll be alternating. So you can definitely use as many colors for this design as you want. I'm just going to be using 2. So I'm going to use one color to color in all of the alternating squares, and then I'm going to use a different color to do little designs on the opposite squares. Now I think she maybe had done hearts in the opposite squares for hers. I'm going to use another yellow, which honestly I think this is pretty much the same color palette that she used too, actually. So whoops, I'll try to link her post so that you can see what the original version looks like. But I'm just going to do these little like flowers in the alternating ones. So how I did the flower here is I just drew a circle for the center, then you draw basic 5-petal flower and just color in the petals, and then you leave the center open. But like I said, I'm pretty sure she did hearts, and you could do whatever you want. You can do the same little image in every one, or you can use a different little image each time instead of repeating just the one over and over. Alright, so that is how that one turned out. I'm now just going to take my black pen and just write November in kind of like an italicized font, all caps underneath the drawing. I really love themes like this, where there's kind of a design just like in a block in the center, and then I just kind of, almost sign the month below as though it's a signature. So there are the 3 different themes. We've got this yellow kind of patchwork look that I got the idea from that OBUJO lady. Then we've got the lily pads and the dragonflies, and finally we have the balloons.